First, Elon Musk, the satellite internet service he established called Starlink, is killing it in regional and rural Australia, where there's no viable or fairly priced alternative for residents. But despite that track record in Australia, I was a bit surprised this week to learn it's not being considered by the government as part of improving the NBN's reach. The Comms Minister, Michelle Rowland, she's argued that the government's recent $3 billion tip-in of extra money, it's $55 billion all up now, in the NBN will ensure that Australians won't need to use Starlink. To discuss this, let's bring in the National Senator from Queensland, Matt Canavan, and the LNP MP, Phil Thompson, also from up north. Gents, welcome. I mean, Matt, given all the money we're spending on the NBN, given his track record with Starlink, and I don't know anyone in the bush who doesn't love Starlink, we'd be mad not to have it in the mix, surely.
Well, I think this shows, Peter, that your average Labor politician doesn't spend much time in the bush, because what you just said is exactly right. A decade ago, one of the biggest political issues in my office was a lack of internet in rural and remote areas. People out in farms, not far from mining towns, couldn't get any internet. They couldn't help their kids get ahead at school. And along came Elon Musk's Starlink and solved a problem which had bedeviled governments for a generation in Australia. It's the power of private industry. And now you've got a government that's got it completely about the wrong way. The reason we built the NBN and invested in the NBN was because there were legitimate issues that maybe the private sector wouldn't invest in new networks and effectively natural monopoly assets which they couldn't make a profit from. Well, now we do have a company that has been able to monetise internet, at least via low Earth orbit satellites. So why is the government now trying to override the private market when it's already working? It's just going to waste your money. I mean, who out there thinks that Anthony Albanese is going to do better business than Elon Musk, the richest man in the world? I mean, maybe Anthony Albanese has some redeeming features, but I don't think running multi-billion-dollar businesses is one of them. He should get out of this and not waste our money. In fact, he should be instead trying to partner with Starlink, just as Telstra and Optus are doing. Both of those companies have signed agreements with Starlink over the last year to roll out phone and text now over orbits. And so we could see a massive revolution that affects every Australian soon, where you'll be able to make a phone call everywhere in Australia, everywhere, including out the back of Burke, thanks to Elon Musk. That's something I don't think the Prime Minister can deliver.
Yeah, no, it's a terrific service, and it's a lot cheaper than the other players in the market, certainly has been to date. Hey, up your way, if I can, Phil, the $1 billion punted by taxpayers into this quantum computer deal in Queensland, well, that's still under review. The new government that's come in there at a state level, Christopher Foley's government, says we're not so sure we like this, we don't think it's a good idea. $470 million was promised by Labor. It's all under review, but the more you look into this, whether it's this computer project or solar panels or all the other stuff, Labor's Future Made in Australia agenda is a colossal waste of money, and it's all borrowed money. This is why punters are so angry.
Well, future made in Silicon Valley, if you're looking at the quantum. And it's right that the Queensland LNP government to look into this. Because when quantum was announced by Ed Husic, the Labor Minister, we found out that Treasury wasn't aware of it, no one else was aware of it. Then you've got the Future Made in Australia bill. We've got economists that have been appointed by the Labor Treasurer saying this has a risk of making businesses reliant on government subsidies, which can only hurt them. This is like a Labor ploy from way back. It's borrowed money, it's spend lots, it's, the economy's not going well, people are doing it tough. So now they're just going to try and throw money around in all the wrong places. I don't think it's good policy. I spoke against this policy in Parliament. People in towns and around Queensland have reached out to me going, this just doesn't seem right. But at the end of the day, it's not my money. It's not Matty Canavan's money. It's not the Labor Party's money. It's taxpayer dollars. You need to spend it in the right places at the right time to help with the crippling cost of living.
Not wrong. The PM, Matt, was down in Tassie. This is the faux election campaign, the Clayton's election campaign we're in. He refused again to give any certainty, any real certainty about the future of the salmon industry in that state. Have a listen.
I'm not going to go through a range of hypotheticals. The Environment Minister has to make a decision. When I'm asked, though, do I support the industry? Yes, I do.
Now, she's had the report on her desk for months and months and months. She's not making a decision because it'll impact the seat of Lyons, about 500 jobs, and, you know, a broader impact of about 4,000 voters. It's a must-win seat for Labor. I don't think it gets any more dishonest than this.
Look, Peter, he sounds as slippery as a freshly caught salmon, doesn't he? There, I mean, if your livelihood relied on this industry, I don't think you could take any confidence that the Prime Minister is in your corner after those sort of weaselly comments. I mean, it does reflect, I think, a level of weakness here. We've seen time and time again from the Prime Minister that he does seem reluctant sometimes to put his foot down and tell us what he really wants to do. Obviously, Tanya Plibersek has been running a rogue department over there in the Department of Environment, stopping a $1 billion gold mine because of a story about a mythical bee. Now putting at risk the thousands of jobs in Tasmania, which rely on the salmon industry. And where are we going to get our salmon? If we shut this industry down, we're all going to be having to eat Norwegian. It's going to come from the North Atlantic and, you know, import it all. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Why can't the Prime Minister of Australia support an Australian industry and Australian jobs? And if he can't, maybe it's time to get a different person in that role.
You're not wrong. Hey, this one, I could not believe it. Farmers in New South Wales are praising the Minns government because they've removed some red tape regulations that would have stopped a landholder, so a farmer, from fighting a bushfire on their own property with their own dam water and river water or anything that is on their land. Under the old rules, the farmers could have copped a fine of more than $1 million, even jail, if they used water on their land to fight a fire without government approval. Now, seriously, Phil, this is the stuff that just makes people so angry.
Well, when I heard about this, I had to recheck it because I was like, surely this isn't a thing. Surely there wouldn't be some useless politician or bureaucrat to make a rule or a regulation that says no farmer can fight a natural disaster, a fire, with water on their land. Like, that's stupid. Like, that is bizarre. And tonight, when you're having your dinner and you're having some steak or you're eating your salad, you should thank a farmer and thank a truckie for delivering it to you. Farmers are the backbone of this nation. We should be supporting them. This is a good change. And it's not often that I'd say it's that a Labor government's done something good, but this is a good move in the right direction, and our farmers should be supported because this is just ridiculous. This is the type of policy that the Australian people want to hold someone accountable to. Go, who made this dumb decision? They should be held accountable. We should get behind our farmers, make sure they're supported, and tonight, make sure you thank a farmer.
Hey, Phil, you maybe should run a name and shame page on your website. Stupid government decisions, I don't care if they're Liberal, Labor or Brindle, put them all up there, let us all have a good laugh. Well, maybe a few might get chucked out, wouldn't that be a good thing?